Hello BookTube, my name is Kate and this is my channel Chapter Kate. Today I'm going to be doing my very first and very own original book tag. This is the Netflix Originals book tag. Before I get started, I wanted to say that just because I use a show or a movie in this book tag does not mean that I agree with everything that they present in the show or that the actors or producers have done in real life. I'm only using them as inspiration for the questions in this video. Orange is the New Black. Name a book where one of the main characters is imprisoned. Now this can either be imprisoned in an actual prison or imprisoned by a captor or anything like that. For this one I'm going to say Alice by Christina Henry. The main character, it starts off with the book, she has kind of been admitted into the psychiatric facility, and the way that the facility just is described in this book is very much like a prison. It's not very much like the facility that I work in, which is a state facility, so it's a little bit closer to how it would look if someone was institutionalized, even though that has been done away with for years now. But it does very much feel like a prison. But it is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland. This is the first of two. It's Duology by Christina Henry. Since 8, name a favorite platonic relationship. For this one I'm going to use Sleeping Giants. It is a book written in interviews and news reports and journals, things like that, about basically, it kind of reminds me of the Iron Giant. There's like a big robot from space and stuff like that. However, I'm going to be talking about the relationship between the interviewer and the main scientist in charge of putting the robot together. I love that relationship because the interviewer is very separated from most people, but he does show sort of a preference for this individual, and even though it's very subtle, the relationship, I really love it. House of Cards, a book with political overtones. For this one I'm going to use the Scythe series by Neal Shusterman. It is a trilogy that's not complete yet, and it is about a society where basically everything that's negative, crime, health issues has all been eradicated. People are able to basically reset. If they reach a certain age where they're kind of starting to die, they can reset. So there is a group of people called Scythes, and they glean people, which is basically permanently killing them. Whereas if someone is just normally injured or killed in one way or another, they're able to kind of come back and be revived. So that's what it's about. But within the community of the Scythes, there is a lot of political controversy and intrigue, and I really enjoy this series so much. It is one of my favorites currently. Bojack Horseman, a book that made you laugh. For this one, I'm going to be choosing the Superheroes Anonymous series by Lexi Dunne. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. This is the first in the series. I've only read the first two because now when I go to Barnes & Noble, they don't have the third one, even though they used to have the third one before I needed it. But now all of a sudden, they don't have the third one. Oh my gosh. Anyway, this is a book featuring the main character that kind of goes by the name Hostage Girl. That's not her actual name. Her actual name, I think, is Gail. But she goes by Hostage Girl because she has a tendency to be captured by supervillains, and she actually develops her own superpowers, and it's kind of in putting her into the world of superheroes as a superhero herself. And the humor in this book reminds me a lot of kind of old school comic book humor, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. But it still has a lot of action and a lot of interesting plot points, and it's just very entertaining. Dear White People, pick a book featuring a character whose ethnicity is different from your own. For this one I chose Battle Royale by Koshin Takami. This book is essentially the original Hunger Games, but instead of it being, you know, kids from all over the place, it's one class of students, and so they all know each other prior to the games. But it's very good, and they're all Japanese, so it's basically a dystopian Japan, and it's a horror thriller. It's very disturbing. It's a little bit more disturbing than the Hunger Games. I don't recommend watching the movie because it made me sick, so it's just very hard to watch. But the book is amazing. I finished it in like a day. It's so good. Stranger Things, an admirable fictional mother or mother figure. For this one I'm going to go with Leia Organa Solo, or Princess Leia. We have the entire Star Wars Extended Universe and all of the new books that have come out in paperback so far. And I'm going to just show you the one that I really just like her picture on, but we have them all. She's an absolutely amazing mother in the books who goes through a lot of hardships, but she still manages to be as strong as she is in the movies. Glow, a book that left you feeling empowered. For this one I'm going to go with two books by Rupi Kaur. and that would be Milk and Honey, as well as The Sun and Her Flowers. These are poetry books. A lot of people have seen this one and seen little screenshots of this one, memes of this as well. But the poetry itself is so beautifully written, and I can't help but feel stronger after reading it. The Defenders. Pick a book that has more than 2 main characters. For this one, I'm going to go with the Chronicles of Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. This is about an entire alternate universe called Narnia, and most of you know what this is about, so I'm not really going to go into it. Hemlock Grove. Name the last thriller or horror book that you read. For this one, I don't have the book with me because I checked it out from the library at work, but I'm going to go with Velocity by Dean Koontz, and if I can figure out how, I'll insert a picture of it right here. I don't know if that worked or not. We'll find out, won't we? Essentially, this book is about a main character who is pretty hands-off with his life. He doesn't like to make a lot of decisions or get too involved in things. But then he gets a note saying that if you don't make a decision, I'm going to murder this person or this person. And it's never a good decision. It's like, if you go to the cops, I'll murder this chick. But if you don't murder the cops, I'll kill this person. And there's no fun decision in that. So he spends the whole book trying to figure out who is responsible for these notes, and you also find out more information about his mysterious past as the book goes along. Nailed it. Name a book that you think is just perfect. Everything about it is just great and makes you excited. For this one, I'm going to definitely have to go with The Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab, because, dudes, if you haven't read this, please read this book. It's just so great. It's got pirates, it's got magic, it's got pirates, it has sexual diversity, it has ethnic diversity, it has cultural diversity, it has so much awesome stuff in this tiny little, well, it's not very small, but it's in this however many pages. There's so much awesome, and I just loved it so much. Read this book. Please read this book. And that's all for the Netflix Originals book tag. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to tag 10 people that I enjoy on YouTube, and hopefully they'll do it. If not, I won't be terribly offended. It'll only hurt a little. But I'm going to tag Min Kobayashi, Paul Reeds, Taylor Reeds here, The Book Vagrant, Infinity Books, Crescent Moon Reads, Elliot Brooks, Emma Novella, I Love You for Books, and May Reads. I hope I said all your usernames correctly, and I know there's 10 of them, but there's 10 questions, so why not? And if you would like more of this junk, subscribe below. Bye!